Your focus is not simply drifting, it is being meticulously dismantled. We are living through the greatest psychological heist in human history, a systematic harvesting of the one resource that makes you sovereign, your attention. While the masses are sedated by a flood of algorithmic noise, the elite are retreating. They understand that in an era of total distraction, the ability to think deeply for a single hour is a weapon of mass production. Focus is not a gift you are born with. It is an architecture you must build. A fortress designed to protect your cognitive potential from the parasites of the modern world. Today, we stop surviving the noise. We start constructing the elite mind. This is the architecture of deep focus, the biological hijacking. To build the architecture of focus, we must first investigate the wreckage of our own biology. We are operating on ancient hardware in a hyper-modern world, a catastrophic mismatch that is being exploited by design. For millennia, the human brain evolved in an environment of extreme scarcity. Dopamine was our survival compass, a precision-tuned chemical reward system designed to drive us toward finding water, high-calorie food, or a suitable mate. It was a precious pulse of motivation, a biological incentive intended to ensure our continuity. But today, we do not live in the world for which we were built. We live in a landscape of artificial engineered abundance, where the modern world has weaponized our neurobiology against our own interests. Every red notification, every infinite scroll, and every targeted advertisement is a surgical strike against your dopamine system. We have effectively turned a survival mechanism into a prison of chronic addiction. You're not simply unproductive or lazy. You are being systematically sedated. This constant saturation of cheap, immediate rewards has physically reconfigured your neural pathways through the process of neuroplasticity. But in reverse, it has made deep, contemplative thought feel physically agonizing because your brain has lost the capacity to value delayed rewards. You have been conditioned to crave the shallow, the immediate, and the effortless. This is the comfort crisis, a state of cognitive decay where you become passive, predictable, and entirely manageable for the algorithms that harvest your time. You are no longer the architect of your own thoughts. You have become a mere consumer of someone else's prompts, responding like a biological machine to digital stimuli. This hijacking goes deeper than mere distraction. It is an erosion of the self. When your attention is fragmented, your ability to form complex ideas, to solve difficult problems, and to maintain a coherent life narrative begins to dissolve. To reclaim your sovereignty, you must understand that the enemy is not a lack of willpower, but a sophisticated biological takeover. Discipline, in its highest form, begins not with an addition of new habits, but with a radical subtraction of noise. We must detoxify the neurochemical foundation and starve the distractions that have colonized your mind. Only by clearing this wreckage can we begin to lay the first stone of the elite, disciplined self. We are not just fixing a schedule. We are rebuilding a fortress, the environmental fortress. If you believe that discipline is simply a matter of wanting it more, you have already lost the battle. The greatest mistake of the modern striver is the reliance on willpower, a finite, biological resource that depletes with every decision you make. The elite do not rely on willpower. They rely on the fortress they build around themselves. To achieve deep focus, you must become an architect of your environment. You must understand that your surroundings are either a catalyst for your potential or a cage for your progress. We begin by constructing the digital void. Your smartphone is a gateway for external agendas to colonize your mind. It is a device engineered to bypass your logic and speak directly to your primal cravings. To reclaim your sovereignty, the fortress must have walls. This means a radical elimination of digital friction. Notifications are not just interruptions. They are structural breaches in your mental defense. A disciplined mind operates in a vacuum of silence where the only input is the task at hand. But the architecture extends beyond the screen. Your physical space is a reflection of your internal order. A cluttered room is a cluttered mind. Every object in your field of vision demands a fraction of your cognitive load, a silent tax on your ability to think deeply. The environmental fortress is minimalist, intentional, and cold to the touch of distraction. It is a monastery for the modern age. When you enter this space, your biology must recognize the shift. There should be a physical ritual to your focus, a specific lighting, a specific scent, or a total absence of comfort that signals to your brain that the time for consumption is over and the time for construction has begun. You are not fighting your environment, you are designing it to do the fighting for you. By removing the choice to be distracted, you liberate the energy required for excellence. We do not hope for focus. We engineer the conditions where focus is the only possible outcome. This is the structural transition from being a victim of your surroundings to becoming the master of your domain. Before you can master the world, you must master the square meter in which you stand. The fortress is not a prison. It is the only place where you are truly free to create. The Deep Work Protocol. Having constructed the fortress, we must now master the ritual. Deep focus is not a passive state you fall into by chance. It is a violent, intentional expulsion of the mundane. The elite follow a strict protocol that treats the first 60 minutes of any task not as the work itself, but as a cognitive ascent. Most people fail because they expect clarity to be waiting for them at the starting line. They sit down, wait for a spark of inspiration, and when it doesn't arrive within 5 minutes, they instinctively reach for their phone to kill the silence. They do not understand the biological friction of the ramp-up. To enter the deep work state, you must learn to embrace the boredom of the transition. This is what I call the focus tax, that uncomfortable period where your brain is still echoing with the noise of the outside world, desperately trying to settle into the heavy silence of the fortress. The protocol requires a total, merciless shutdown of the peripheral self. No music with lyrics to hijack your language centers, no open tabs to leak your attention, and no exit strategy. You must commit to the discomfort of the quiet until the quiet becomes your greatest ally. The second stage of the protocol is the chronological anchor. Your mind is a biological clock that thrives on rhythm and predictability. If you attempt deep work at random intervals, you are forcing your neurochemistry to fight an uphill battle every single day. The elite anchor their most demanding cognitive tasks to the exact same window of time. This creates a powerful Pavlovian response where the mere act of sitting at your desk at a specific hour triggers a cascade of focus-enhancing neurochemicals before you even touch the keyboard. You are training your brain to recognize that in this window, the external world simply does not exist. The third pillar is the singularity of intent. You do not sit down to work in a general sense. You sit down to solve one specific, high-resolution problem that you have defined before the sun even rose. Vague goals lead to vague focus. A disciplined mind is a laser, not a floodlight. It concentrates every joule of its cognitive energy into a single, microscopic point until the resistance of the task finally breaks. This is where the magic happens, where time disappears, where the ego dissolves, and where you enter the state of flow that defines the top 1% of human achievers. This protocol is not a suggestion or a lifestyle choice. It is the required operating system for anyone seeking human excellence. You do not engage in deep work because you feel motivated. You do it because the architecture of your life demands it. Master the protocol, and you master the entire output of your existence. The world belongs to those who can stay in the room long after everyone else has left. The transcendence? The architecture of your life is the only wall standing between you and the algorithmic harvest. You must understand that the modern world is not designed for your success. It is engineered for your compliance. Every notification, every infinite scroll, and every personalized recommendation is a brick in a digital prison that you have been tricked into building for yourself. But today, the blueprint has changed. You have seen the internal gears of the deception. You now understand that discipline is not a burden, but the highest form of rebellion. To exist in a state of deep focus is to be a ghost in the machine, a variable the system cannot predict or control. This is where you reclaim your humanity. This is where you stop being a data point and start becoming an architect. The choice before you is binary. You can return to the comfortable anesthesia of the loop, or you can step into the cold, silent vacuum of the fortress we have discussed. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. It is the discipline to do exactly what you must, regardless of the biological friction. The world belongs to the few who can stand the silence. As you leave this session, do not look for motivation. Look for your blueprint. Rebuild your environment, master your protocol, and protect your attention as if it were the last currency on Earth. Because it is. The harvest is ongoing, but you are no longer the crop. You are the outlier. You are awake. If you have reached this level of clarity and are ready to master the system, prove your humanity in the digital void below. Leave a comment saying, "I am awake," to signal your resistance. Your journey into the architecture of excellence starts now, but only if you have the courage to stay in the room when the lights go out. The system is watching, but for the first time, it does not recognize you. Master the system before the system masters you.